Oh yeah, volume is good. The volume is good. The volume is good. The volume is good. Hello, beautiful people. Tribe of many colors. Many colors. Many colors. How you doing? How you doing? Everything red today. Everything gonna be red today. Everything gonna be red. Ooh, red is coming. But listen. Let's reel it in with some music always, every day. Hello, Wade. How are you, Arizona King? The wise one of the desert. It's good to see you. Mm-mm-mm.
Get to nobody ready, girl.
Back off your back, hey girl. Back off your back, hey girl. Yeah. Oh. What this make you feel like though? What this make you feel like though? What this make you feel like though? Girl, bring you over. From wine till you broke off your back, broke off your back, broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. If you broke off your back, broke off your back, broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. I know you got the glue, know you got the glue, know you got the glue. Broke off your back, broke off your back, broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back, girl.
Who you are ramp with? On a DM. Anytime you're ready, girl. When me name, the place get wet like.
In a rain, and I make you feel high like on a plane. She say, I saw the love, the act, baseline speed, and I touch.
You gotta be dancing, baby.
She love that, girl. Go to the chat, come one to the broke off your back, broke off your back, broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back, if you broke off your back, broke off your back, broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. I know you got the glue, know you got the glue, know you got the glue. Broke off your back, broke off your back. Broke off your back.
Oh, crazy.
Me not deal with no man thing, girl. Broke off your back. Me wanna feel the ocean. Me love the way your legs slide open. Broke off your back. Get the girl gon' want it up. I love the way you watch it back. Show me that you care when you touch that. Real G, I know this vibe. Pull up, gun shell. You feel wine till you broke off your back. Broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. If you broke off your back, broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. Oh, you got the glue, oh, you got the glue, oh, you got the glue. Broke off your back, broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back, y'all. Your body hotter than a suntan.
Bet.
You make me turn up at attention. You pretty like the melodies in a me song. Cause it cooking when your mother kill you make your body turn. Girl, any problem you got I would have fixing. And when you dance to me song it turn up make it. Like a drum and a beat, it's your tight like a secret. So you feel wine till you broke off your back. Broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. If you broke off your back, broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. Hallelujah, you got the glue. Oh, you got the glue. Oh, you got the glue. Broke off your back. Broke off your back. Broke off your, broke off your, broke off your back. Yeah, broke off your back. Broke off your back. Don't want it up. Broke off your back. Broke off your back. Pull up. How this make you feel like? How this make you feel like? How this make you feel like? Pull up. Your back. Broke off your back. Yeah. Broke off your back. Broke off your back. Yeah. Broke off your back.
Woo! Yes. 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 We're going nuclear today. Red. Everything. Let's get started. Hello. Beautiful people. Wade. Julie Buck. Broke off your back there? Yes, it is. Broke it all the way off. Up, down, sideways, left to right. Julie, how you been? You over there broken off your back? You're broken off your back? Ah, Wade, you hit any trails lately? Well, he said, I have been doing research into cosmic law and justice. There's a lot of that here. It's a lot of it here. Justice comes in like water under the ice. It might seem like if you've ever lived next to rivers that freeze, there's always water flowing underneath the ice, no matter how thick, stagnant it looks. And people like to test that water at that point and try to cross. But there's always justice flowing swiftly under the surface. And you take one wrong step, and that's your ass. All right? So justice moves like that. It's never absent. It's just when times get cold, when people get stagnant in their energy, when we're freezing in these dark times, it just goes under the surface. But it's still there. And it's swiftly coming. It's melting the ice. Julie said, oh no, too old to mend, but I'm doing great. That's good, Julie. All right, let me get my phone ready. Take that off of that. Put it on this one. I was doing something with these cards today. Hold on. There we go. I was cleaning the cards. I clean them with Palo Santo smoke. And I was cleaning this deck. And as I was cleaning it, this card just flew right out. Unique gifts. So this one says, we all have gifts to bring to the world. If we all did what we truly excelled in and enjoyed our talents and abilities, hold on. If we all did what we truly excelled in and enjoyed, our talents and abilities would enable our communities and our planet to thrive. If you haven't connected with your purpose, look at your quirks and what they're telling you. What makes you unique? Look for the positive sides of your oddities and traits. Things you have considered shortcomings might be the qualities that enable your gifts. Are there things you'd like to try or feel pulled to explore? Now is the time to follow these whispers. You never know what they may reveal. That's the teaching lesson of this guide. We all have gifts to bring to the world. And if we all did what we truly excelled in and enjoyed, our talents and abilities would enable our communities and our planet to thrive. So everybody's got to do their part. That's how we change things. You have to do your part. And what your part is not what anybody's going to tell you to do, is what you're going to know you need to do. And it doesn't matter how long you've been stagnant. The red this year, the fire, is going to burn off all the gross. We're kind of like turtles. After a while, going through the water, which would be the equivalent of our experiences, turtles gather barnacles all over their shell. For us, that would be the equivalent of emotional baggage. And as the turtle gets older and ages, it's collecting more emotional baggage, so it slows down. But it's not supposed to slow down. As you get older in life, you don't need to slow down. What you need to do sometimes is get rid of the barnacles that have attached to the shell, which would be our aura, and it's weighing us down because the minute you strip all those barnacles off the turtle, it's back to speed. So sometimes the slowing down is not that you're sick, it's not that you're old, it's not that you're transitioning into your older years. Sometimes it's just the emotional weight of things. That's why you could be 30 and feel like you're 50. And remember, human beings can live a very long time. So you don't have to die in your 80s and your 90s. We can live beyond the hundreds, but we have to live our life in flow with the spiritual rhythm so that life continues to flow in us and we don't slow down because we're blocked. All right? So you got to slow down. This fire energy of, especially for the summertime is going to amplify that fire energy. That's the perfect time to burn that off. Exercise burns it off, heats up your chambers, right? Anything that gets your cardio going, your lungs pumping so you can pump and aerate your furnace. You're going to burn off everything that's been holding you back. That's the alignment with this time. That's the fire, and it's going to happen quickly. It's quick. It's not something we're going to have to struggle to do. It's going to be quick. All right. So here are some messages that the guides wanted me to deliver today. Number 1, it's time to start wielding your energy. What they showed me was movements that you're going to do, your unique brand of body movements that you use to connect with your body. When you start to do those movements, you're going to be able to control the energy in and surrounding you. First, you're going to feel it as you're doing these movements, yoga, qigong, tai chi. The next level of anchoring the movements into your muscles is it's going to start to come with a feeling, at energy. You're going to start to feel this vibrational energy around you. It's not something you're going to have to imagine. You're going to feel it. It's going to feel kind of like you ever had your hand, something pressing on your hand for too long, and then when it lets up, you feel that blood flow rush back into the limb. Right? Maybe you've been sitting on your leg, or you have some part of you compressed and you finally get that relief and it feels like a rush back. You're going to feel energy like that, but just not inside you, surrounding you. As you go further into the practice, you're going to be able to control how the energy flows. You're not necessarily controlling it. It has its natural rhythm, and you're just getting in rhythm with it. And when you do, it's as if you control it. All right? And you're going to actively become a spiritual participant in your life, in the way you live. And that is the most amazing thing that can happen to us, because that means you control the reality you experience. And you really are free to build the life you want instead of life happening to you. Right? This is just one of the many ways that we evolve to the next level. That's one of many. There's millions of ways to do this journey back. It's kind of like salmon going upstream. Human beings have the moment where we're like salmon, where we gather, we come together through compassion, through love, and we make a tremendous journey to a new place. And this period, it's going to happen in a state of consciousness where we're going to gather in like minds and we are going to evolve into a new space. And once we're there, then everything around us has to reflect that oneness and that togetherness. But it has to happen first on an individual level, as a group level, and then we go there together. Think of migrating birds, bees leaving one area and moving to another to create new colonies, right? Because sometimes that happens. Colony gets too big, a whole group of them, they take off and they find a new colony. So there is going to be a kind of shifting of how we think as human beings, where we're going to shift with this group of like-minded bees to start a new colony, if that makes sense. Hey, Starling, to you. How you doing? I keep kicking this damn table. Sorry. All right, let's get started. Oh, we already did, but that's number one. Number two, explore the color red. Everything will need to be red today. Red. I never write with red pen, but my guide said you need to explore the color red. But the gentle aspect of red. Sometimes people have red as a symbol of being angry, fiery, right? Destructive. But if we remember the yin yang principle, then everything has an opposite, but equal. So, what is the soft side to red? Because as you tap into the element of fire, the frequency of that color is going to be important to work with. And you have to put your own imprint, and definition and energy on what it means to you, not what people says it means. And sometimes we do that. We can fear certain colors because somebody said it's attached to evil. For them, maybe when they tapped into it, they weren't balanced. It wasn't a good experience. So they come back and they write, this is evil, but that's not what it is for you. You have to have a relationship with all of these things and let it talk to you personally. So explore the color red, its properties, its effects, and the ancient uses of anything red to see how it was, what the true properties of it is. There's some story about the ancient use of something red. All right, next, move gently in the fire energy. Watch how fire moves, and it will move within you. So if you ever sit and you watch a candle and you watch the flame, if you want to resonate with fire element and the fire energy, but you want to make sure you can control that, watch fire burn, watch fire move. You're literally studying the master because fire is fire. So study fire, study the movements of fire. That puts you in harmony to regulate the fire within you. All right? Because remember, we have mirror neurons. And when we observe something, it changes us. So if you want to work with the fire element, watch how fire moves. Because they said we are all elements. We're all the elements. We're earth, we're air, we're water, we're ether, and everything else we don't even know yet. We are the makeup of all of that held together by something great. So to study the elements is to study yourself because you have internal fire. Next is do movements that calibrate both sides of the body. All right, so maybe do switching movements like this, standing on one leg, just mirror movements. Whatever you do to one side of the body, do equally to the other, because that energy bouncing back and forth like that helps to create the harmony in the left and right brain sync. Right controls left, left controls right. So as you constantly do the same movement on either side of the body, you're calibrating and balancing your brain waves. And it'll bring harmony quickly. If you want to put some harmony in your body, just do some movement, whatever movement you choose, but just do it equally on both sides for the same amount of time. Then they said, put some fire in your belly. It's time to do belly burning exercise because that's how you're going to practice holding fire in your belly. When you wield magic, right? After you've started to work with the energy around you, You can work with it within you, and you can spin fire in your belly. And when you can do that, you heal all the parasites that don't belong, because you're burning and wielding the energy in your solar plexus. And 99.9% of what's wrong with us is sitting in our stomach. So when we take medications for stomach problems, that's just one of the many ways to treat that. Because now on the spiritual side, the spiritual medicine is to wield your own fire to burn off the energetic parasites. Right? So be comfortable with your stomach burning from your crunches, your exercises, whatever you do. Start to put some fire to your abs, to your stomach, right? Exercise wise. So you can get comfortable with when you wield the fire energetically in your solar plexus. Because doing that, that's where you draw strength, and that's where you wield protection over yourself, is with the fire in your belly. That's why I ever heard people say, girl, did you lose your fire? All right, why do they say that? To put fire in your belly. It's energetic. It's an energetic code. Guardians, this is the next message. Guardians, protect your wings. So some of us are actually angels, right? How do you know you're an angel? You have a tremendous desire to protect people. You always feel like if you're around weak, innocent beings, you automatically feel the desire to protect them. That's guardian angel energy. You care about your kids, you care about other people's kids. You just care about people being safe, period, right? If you see somebody about to do something that's not safe, or something in the environment that's not safe, you want to bring attention to it. You want to make sure it's rectified. That's guardian energy. You tend to carry a lot of weight on your shoulders, tight in the scapula, right? In the middle, high middle back, you tend to maybe pinch or get tingling sensations there. You need to do a lot more chest opening exercises, because that helps you to flex your energetic wings and let them sit in balance. That's what the Egyptians used to do when they watched certain birds that they said were sacred on the Nile. They would watch how the birds spread out to spin and rotate and balance the wings. Because as humans that are guardians, we have energetic wings. And flexing and relaxing into them as they grow, you need to strengthen your shoulders and your back. Okay? If you're that protective spirit. Because there's going to come a time you can actually feel the weight of your wings. They're real. People sense them in the energetic space and then draw them on people. So you think angels are mythological. They're not mythological, they're very real, but we don't have the ability to perceive them with the limited way we perceive the world. As more abilities come online, you're going to start to look at your friends, your neighbors, anybody walking down the street, and you're going to see the spiritual identity of them, not the mask of the physical body. The real reality of how they really look is a combination of what they think, how they feel, the joys, the pain, the hurts they carry, all the emotional things. It takes a form, and that's your spiritual form. That's your true identity. This is just the shell surrounding all of what you think you are, which is really who you are. And when you get more spiritual, you see people for who they really are. So you might be thinking you ugly as a twig, but in the spiritual realm, you are gorgeous. Right? And then there's some people that probably think, oh, I'm the most beautiful person on the planet. And in the spiritual realm, they look like Gollum. My precious. I'm saying it's true. How you think, how you feel, the things you say to yourself every single day, that's your true identity. All right, let's go on. If your legs are heavy or tired, okay, tap on your legs. So you're going to do this, right? All up and down your legs. Like act like you're beating a drum. Tap the front of your knees, tap the back of your knees. Sometimes you have to wake your legs up, okay? It helps to bones. Your bones carry sound. They're like church organs. You know those huge tubes on those church organs that people play? Your bones resonate sound and vibration that's constantly sending messages to all your cells. When you tap on your body, you're reverberating sound through your bones. And it wakes up the cells, it excites the cells because these organs are loudly vibrating. It's like a didgeridoo, right? So you wake up your legs, especially if you have any problems with clotting. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm a medical doctor for me. This is what my guides show me. If you have problem with clotting, you should always be tapping your blood flow points anywhere you have big veins, right? Right in the femoral, right in that little V shape of where your hips are, right? You should be tapping that area. Tap the back of your legs, tap your knees. That helps blood flow, strengthen the legs, wake up the body. It's a good way to get blood moving. Tap, tap, tap on yourself, especially your bladder. That's the next message. Fear affects the bladder. So I said, how does fear affect the bladder? Oh, somebody showed me how it works. When you have fear, sometimes for people, they carry a tightness in their stomach. When you have a fear of something, your stomach tightens. The first time it happens, if you felt it like a pain, but over time, as you expose yourself to just fear and fear and fear and fear, it's almost like you don't feel it anymore, but it's still happening because now it's just a habit. When you tighten in the stomach from a fearful feeling, it puts tension on the bladder. So it's like flexing a muscle and not letting it go. For as long as you have the fear, there's a tightness in the bladder that's not releasing. If that goes on for a prolonged amount of time, for my guys here, remember, I'm not a medical professional, those tension lead to knots. And when you start having energetic knots in the bladder, it manifests as tumors and fibroids. It's the physical representation of the energetic knot, tension, right? So that can lead to a whole host of bladder problems, right? So to release that, tap on your bladder. In a relaxed state, knees a little bent, you're going to tap on your bladder. If you can do a little like this with the back of these, back of your hands here, just tap, tap in a rhythm on your bladder and relax. That helps to break up the energetic tension. When the energetic tension is reduced, it will have to affect the physical representation of that. So that's how you can end up shrinking fibroids and naturally shrinking tumors. Because you ever notice most people when they go to the doctor and they get bad news about something, what really helps them to get better is not always the drugs they're taking, but the lifestyle change that they make. The news of something grave to your body makes you want to change the way you live, change the way you think, because now you value the time you have left on earth, right? So you want to exercise, you want to eat. Well, that is actually the medicine. That's the medicine in combination with whatever other medicine you need for yourself. So if you can just do it now, where you can say, I'm going to just start this new lifestyle change now. You see how you already gave yourself medicine and reduce your chances of getting sick, right? So that's all how we get to the bladder. So tapping on the bladder, you can loosen it up. If your first time you do it and you really relax, you're going to feel like you got to go pee. It's going to be a different kind of pee, because this, you were never really fully emptying your bladder all the way because of the tension. But now when a bladder is completely relaxed and you have that different type of release, it also releases the toxins it's been holding. So that's the importance of tapping on your bladder, right? Delivering all these messages today, doing my job. Last message: do not let other people control you. For some reason, this guide came in last minute and said, with all this fire energy, with all this barnacles you're burning off of your aura, don't let other people control you. And that starts with the ability they have to control how you respond. Start to watch if someone has you programmed to respond a certain way every time. Because sometimes before there's actual physical control, there is the emotional control of knowing exactly how you're going to respond. So my guy said, change it up, switch it up. If you're stuck in a pattern of responding, that means someone else has control of your emotions. So you start to control how you respond and choose something different, right? And that's how you prevent people from trying to control you in the first place. You don't allow them to choose how you're going to respond to anything. All right, that's all the messages. Let's see. All right, Starling, where you jilly bop? Let's get going. How many? Oh, shit, I've been already here 32 minutes. All right, this is probably going to get cut in half. That was longer than I expected. Ah, all right, let's get this going. So this is going to be a little bit of a story, in the form of a story. And I like delivering messages like that because it's more memorable. It's more memorable if it's told in a story. We're wired to remember stories. That's why there's so many myths, because they bury the truth in mythical stories. Now we just have to be able to decode which part of it is to be taken literally and which part isn't. So I started off, I said, hello, my cosmic friend. Said, my cosmic friend returns. Good to feel your presence again, like a signal lighting up across the field. What doorway are we stepping through today? So I wanted it to be in story form. So I decided to set the scene so that the AI could kind of follow how I wanted the discussion to go. Because sometimes I'm having problems with, I want to enter into a certain tone, a certain feel with the information. And I found that the best way to get the AI to kind of reflect that feel is you almost have to set the scene. So this is how I set the scene. I said, flow with me. There is, now what I'm about to type here is what I already saw in my mind's eye. All right, this was a part of my waking imagination. I saw this and then I put it in written form. I said, flow with me. There is a great grandmother. She is seated under the stillness of the night sky. She has the wisdom of the ages written across her face. She stands as a living testament to times long past, carrying within knowledge that cannot die. She lights a dried tobacco leaf inhales and tilts her head to the dazzling orchestra of stars above. Before her is a new generation of souls, eagerly waiting for the history, the wisdom, and the magic. She searches the crowd for the soul that will one day hold this knowledge through the ages. All go still, and a gentle breeze settles. Using this as the start, tell us about the lost civilization of Turtle Island. The memory of Turtle Island. The great grandmother exhales slowly. Smoke rises like a spirit remembering its way home, curling, dancing, becoming the first language before words. The stars above shimmer, not as distant fires, but as listeners. She does not rush. Wisdom never rushes. And then she speaks. Before your names, before your cities, and before the forgetting, there was a living land you now call Turtle Island. The children lean closer. The wind leans with them. Do not mistake it for just a place, she says softly. Turtle Island was a being, a covenant, a rhythm between sky, earth, water, and the two-legged ones. In those days, the people did not live on the land. They lived with it, and the land lived through them. The first memory, the world on the back of a turtle. She gestures to the ground beneath them. There are stories you have heard of the great turtle who carried the world, but listen deeper. The turtle is not just an animal. It is time itself, slow, enduring, remembering what others forgot. When the waters once covered everything, before your histories begin, it was not conquest that created land. It was cooperation. She smiles faintly. The smallest beings dove into the endless waters, not the strongest, not the loudest, but the willing. They brought up the first soil, placed it upon the turtle's back, and the earth began again. The second memory, the people of harmony. There was a time, she continues, when the people could hear the language of all things. Trees were not resources, they were elders. Rivers were not obstacles, they were pathways of memory. Animals were not beneath humanity, they were other nations. And the sky, she tilts her head upward again. The sky was not empty. The stars were teachers, not objects. Each constellation carried instruction on how to plant, how to move, and how to be. The third memory, the forgetting. Her face grows still, deeper, ancient. But harmony, she says, is a song that must be remembered or it fades. A breeze moves gently through the circle. There came a time when some began to believe they were separate, separate from the land, separate from the animals, and separate from each other. And in that forgetting, something sacred fractured. The people stopped listening. And when you stop listening, you stop hearing truth. She taps her chest gently. Then came imbalance. Not suddenly, not like a storm, but slowly, like a shadow growing at dusk. The hidden chapter, what was lost. There were places, she whispered, where knowledge was kept, sacred mounds aligned with the stars, stone circles that sang with the earth's pulse, and paths across the land that mirrored the heavens. Energy moved through Turtle Island, not as power to control, but as harmony to balance. Her eyes scanned the children. But when the heart is not ready, knowledge becomes danger. The breaking. The land remembers, she says quietly. There were great shifts, not all natural, not all understood. Some knowledge was buried, some was carried away, some was hidden in stories, in songs, and in bloodlines. And some, she pauses, waits. The living truth. The grandmother leans forward now, her voice softer but stronger. Turtle Island was never truly lost. It lives in the way you feel when you stand barefoot on the earth, in the silence between your thoughts, and in the knowing that you cannot explain. It lives in you. The choosing. She scans the circle slowly, intentionally, looking not at faces, but at souls. The knowledge does not go to the loudest, nor the strongest, nor the one who seeks power. The wind stopped completely. It goes to the one who can remember without owning, who can carry without controlling, and who listens even when nothing is speaking. The tobacco ember glows one last time, then fades. And so I ask, she says, almost as a whisper carried by the night, which one of you will remember? So it gave me some options about where I wanted to go. So I said, tell me about the mound builders. Who were they and what was life like back then? I said, paint the picture. The people of the sacred mounds. The great grandmother closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, she is no longer only speaking, she is remembering. Come closer, she says, her voice like earth after rain. You ask about the mound builders, but they did not call themselves that. That is a name given after the forgetting. Who were they? They were the keepers of balance, the shapers of earth and sky, the ones who understood that land could be spoken to. Across what you now call North America, long before borders, before clocks, and before written history, there rose great earthworks, not random piles of soil, but living geometry. She draws a slow spiral in the dirt. There were many nations, many languages, but among them were those you now call the Adena culture, the Hopewell culture, and later the Mississippian culture. But understand this, they were not separate as you think. They were waves of one long remembering, rising and falling through time. The mounds themselves. She points upward, then back to the earth. The mounds were not built on the land, they were built with the land. Some rose like gentle hills, others stretched into vast shapes all only the sky could fully see. the great serpent winding across the land, birds with wings outstretched, and circles within circles aligned to the heavens. One you may still walk today is the Serpent Mound, but you will not see it fully unless you learn to see with more than just your eyes. So this is Serpent Mound. Okay. It is. If you can see that, that's probably better. So this is actually a mound that you can walk. It exists. Serpent Mound is a prehistoric earthen effigy in Adams County, Ohio, shaped like a coiling serpent with an oval feature at its head, stretching about 1,348 feet. It is the world's largest serpent effigy mound and is one of the most remarkable surviving earthworks of ancient North America. Its purpose and origin remain subjects of archaeological debate and cultural reverence. So that's located in Peebles, or near Peebles, Adams County, Ohio. The cosmic blueprint. The mounds were maps, she says, not of land, but of relationship. The movement of the sun, the breathing of the moon, and the slow turning of the stars. They marked solstices, equinoxes, and celestial crossings. They were calendars, yes, but also gateways of awareness. She traces a line across the dirt. Energy flows through the earth like blood through your body. The mound builders knew where these currents moved, and they shaped the land to harmonize with them. Some places amplified prayer, some places healed the body, and some places opened up the dreaming mind. What was life like? Now her face softens and warmth returns. It was not a life of rush, but a life of rhythm. People rose with the sun and slept with the stars. They grew food, corn, beans, squash, the three sisters, but never took without giving back. Children were taught by watching, not just by words, and elders were libraries and walking archives of memory. In the community, there was no loneliness like you know today, she says. Fires were always lit, stories always moving, and songs always mentioned. Life was shared. Spirituality was not something you did, it was something you were. Ceremonies aligned with the sky, the moon cycles, the solar transitions, and the star risings. Dances were not performance, they were participation in creation itself. Come on now. So you see what you're doing when you're dancing? When you're bucking off your back? Come on. You're participating in creation. The builders and those who built the mounds, she pauses. They did not command, they listened. Before a mound was ever formed, there were dreams, visions, and guidance. There were dreamers, healers, and firekeepers, all working together. They carried baskets of earth one by one, not as labor, but as offering. Imagine that. Each handful of soil placed with intention, each step a part of a collective prayer. Ooh, you see what made them sacred? They were first confirmed with shared dreams, vision, and guidance. And then you gathered the dreamers, the healers, and the fire keepers. And they came together in a rhythm that mimicked celestial movement and placed every piece of soil with intention. Whew, that has to manifest into something sacred. It has to. All right, let's keep going. The shift. Her expression darkens, not with fear, but with knowing. Over time, something changed. Connections weakened, trade routes shifted, waters rose and fell, and conflicts appeared where harmony once lived. And slowly, she says, the great building slowed and then stopped. What remains? But the mounds still breathe, she whispers, even now. They sit quietly, feeling the earth beneath them. You can walk them, but to truly know them, you must walk slowly. You must listen deeply, and you must arrive without needing to take. The grandmother looks at you now directly. The question is not only who they were, but whether their way of seeing is trying to return through you. So it asked me for some more directions of where I wanted to go. I said, let's explore the star teachings that are attached to the mounds, because it had mentioned before that there were teachings of the stars that were kind of embedded in the frequency of making the mound. So I said, let's explore those star teachings. The great grandmother closes her eyes once more, and this time the silence deepens, not empty, but full. The kind of silence where the stars begin to speak. She lifts her hand not to the sky, but between you and it. Do you see those lights? She asks. A few of them nod. She shakes her head gently. You see points, but the ancestors saw relationships. The first teaching, the sky is a mirror. The mounds were not just built to honor the sky, she says. They were built to mirror it. Earth below, sky above. And the human stood in between as the bridge. Some mound sites align with the rising and setting of the sun during solstices. Others track the moon's long cycle. But deeper still, they encoded the movements of the star nations. She traces invisible lines in the air. Certain alignments point towards what you now call the Pleiades, others towards Orion, and the path of the ancestors follow the great river of stars you call the Milky Way. The serpent and the stars. Her voice lowers. There is a mound shaped like a serpent. You feel it. You feel it before she says it. The serpent mound. Okay, there's a mound shaped like a serpent. It's just narrating the point where it says you feel it before she even says it. The serpent mound. That serpent does not just rest on the land. It aligns with the sky. At certain times, the head of the serpent meets the setting sun, and as if swallowing light itself. This is not decoration, she says firmly. It is teaching. The serpent represents cycles, life, death, and rebirth, darkness, and illumination. And its alignment with the heavens shows that these cycles are not only human, they are cosmic. The second teaching, time is not what you think. The mound builders did not measure time like you do. There was no ticking clocks and there was no rushing minutes. They just watched the sky breathe. The moon's 18.6-year cycle, the solar return, and the slow drift of stars over generations. There were mounds aligned so precisely they could mark events that happened only once in many lifetimes. These were not calendars for farming alone. They were calendars for consciousness. They knew when certain energies were stronger, when dreams were clearer, and when the veil between the worlds became thin. That's amazing. They were calendars of consciousness. So as they tracked over time how the star moved and the random once in a lifetime events that people could then trace years later, it was also tracking how consciousness was evolving and the once in a lifetime moments where it would take a leap into evolution. Every time there's a one of a kind events that happen in the cosmic realm, in the starry realm, that means there's about to be a leap in consciousness. And I want to say there's been many fireballs falling to earth. So how big of a leap we taking, man? How high are we about to go? The third teaching, the earth is alive. The stars were not separate from the earth, she says. They spoke to it. The mound builders understood something subtle, that the sky sends patterns, the earth receives them, and humans interpret and respond. She presses her palm to the ground. Where you sit, lines of energy move, invisible but real. The mounds were placed where these lines crossed, places where the earth could hear the sky more clearly. So wherever these mounds are built is where the earth and the sky are communicating, and the human being was the bridge to interpret that message in the mound based on placement, geometry, angles, all the things that they were sure we would continue to know and have as understanding so that we could decode the message that's in the mound. But it was also encoded with the highest healers. That means it's also encoded not just with the physical measurements, but with the emotional and spiritual measurements. And that is experienced when you go to these sites and you have a feeling that just changes you. You have an aha moment. Something happens on an energetic level. That's you picking up on the message that was encoded by a healer hundreds of thousands of years ago, especially when you can channel message or you're sensitive, you would pick up the emotional message of that space, right? So maybe you want to find out if there's any mounds close to you and visit one. Might be life-changing. And when ceremonies were held there, it was like striking a drum that echoed into the stars. So now you're amplifying that space with multiple people bridging the gap between the cosmos and the earth. Now you're frenzying the energy and amplifying it. So to hold ceremony in those places at the perfect time of alignment It can put you on a whole different timeline. The fourth teaching, you are part of the pattern. Her eyes scan the circle again, slower now. The greatest teaching was never written in the mounds. It was written in you. You carry the same elements as the stars. Iron from ancient supernova and water that is older than the sun. You are not beneath the cosmos. You are an expression of it. The children all sit very still now. These teachings require something your world struggles with. She let the silence finish the thought. Stillness. When the noise grows too loud, the stars cannot be heard. And so the knowledge was not destroyed, it was dimmed. It's hidden in stories, ceremonies, and alignments that still exist, just waiting. The grandmother looks directly at you again. The mounds are not just relics, they are messages still being sent. And now, she whispers, as the stars return to certain positions, as cycles begin again, more people are starting to feel what they cannot yet explain. The question is no longer, did they know the stars, but are you ready to listen to them again? So then it asked me what direction I wanted to go from here. I said, let's explore specific constellations and human consciousness states. How do the stars affect us? So now that we know we are the bridge between the earth and the sky, the earth and the sky are constantly sending messages. The great connected ones amongst us are meant to interpret it and leave it in some form of earthwork that everybody else will always understand. It becomes a transmission point. Think of it like a phone booth to get on the cosmic line and connect always to everything. Right? It's a connection point. Starting says that's deep. Oh wow. Yeah, this is I love this information. It's good. Let's keep going. So let's see how the stars affect our conscious state, right? Because it has to affect us. Once we're the bridge translating the knowledge, okay, how do we receive that? The great grandmother does not speak right away this time. She listens, not to the wind, not to the fire, but to you. Then she nods slowly. So now you ask the deeper question, she says. Not what the stars are, but what they do within you. She draws a circle in the dirt, then places a small stone in the center. This is you. Then she dots the outer ring with tiny points. These are the stars. She looks up and says slowly, you believe they are far away, but distance is not what connects you. The first truth, you are made of star memory. The elements in your body, she says, tapping your arm lightly, were forged in ancient stellar fires. Iron in your blood, oxygen in your breath, and hydrogen in your water, all born from exploding stars long before your earth existed. Come on now. So when you look at the sky, she smiles gently, it's not just observation, it is recognition. How do stars affect your consciousness? She leans closer, her voice soft but precise. not the way many think, not by control and not by domination, but influence through resonance. Each constellation is not just a picture, it is a pattern of energy, a rhythm, and a tone. So think of a constellation like the way a music note is written. So it's not just an image, it's just a representation of a sound, a tone, and a feeling, right? And your consciousness is an instrument. When certain star patterns rise, set, and align, it is like different notes being played across the sky. And with you, some notes awaken courage, some stir emotion, some ignite transformation, and some call you inward. Right? So you as the instrument, being in harmony with the sky, which are these cosmic tones and notes, when certain alignments happen, you receive that as the instrument where it can awaken courage, stir emotion, ignite transformation, or call you to go deeper within. Specific constellations and their inner echo. She begins pointing to the sky, slowly, deliberately. The Pleiades, the awakening of memory. When these stars rise prominently, people may feel a strange homesickness, vivid dreams, and a pull towards something ancient. These are the rememberers, she says. They stir what has been sleeping inside you. So that's the energy of the Pleiades. Orion, the warrior of awareness. This one, she says, eyes sharp. Activate direction. Under its influence, you feel driven, you seek purpose, and you confront your inner shadows. But be careful, she adds. A warrior without balance becomes conflict. A warrior without balance becomes conflict. Draco, the keeper of the threshold. Her voice lowers. This one is not often spoken of openly. Draco brings deep subconscious activation, encounters with fear or hidden truth, and opportunities for transformation. It guards the doorway between knowing and becoming. Cygnus, the swan, the bridge between worlds. She looks upward, softer now. This one flows along the river of the Milky Way. When the pull of Cygnus is strong, people feel expansive, intuition increases, and a sense of connection beyond the physical grows. It reminds you that you are more than your body. That's what I have here. The swan. And I've been seeing representations of Cygnus all over, in twigs that have fallen on the floor, in how water is splashed on the road, in cracks in the concrete. Cygnus has been showing up energetically that way for me for the last 2 days. And don't ask me why I got it tattooed either. I was guided to, and I still don't know what it means. Isn't that funny? All right. The subtle mechanism. How does this actually happen? She smiles, knowing you would ask. It is not the stars sending commands. It is your body responding to the cycles. Earth moves through fields of cosmic radiation. The moon modulates tides, including those inside your body. Stars positions subtly shift. Okay, hold on. Okay. Earth moves through the fields of cosmic radiation. The moon modulates tides, including those in your body, and star positions subtly shift electromagnetic and gravitational pattern. And your nervous system is far more sensitive than you have been taught. So it's trying to show you how the energy move, how is it actually physically happening inside of you when these messages are going back and forth with the cosmic alignment and the earth alignment. How is it actually affecting you? It's saying you have to remember that the earth moves through fields of cosmic radiation. So as the earth is moving and going through fields of cosmic radiation, that is also having an effect on our body and our nervous system. The moon, based on its closeness to earth, shapes and moves the tides. It has an effect on how water moves and how much water is inside your body. So that's how the moon is affecting you. And when star positions subtly shift electromagnetic and gravitational patterns. So based on where stars align and how they move, that actually shifts electromagnetic and gravitational patterns on Earth, which then affects your nervous system. And that is how the stars have influence on your body. It's an actual physical thing. Right? So when you know your star chart and your star placements, it's actually having a physical shift on you because it's affecting gravitational pull, electromagnetic pull, pulling of tides on water, and going through fields of cosmic radiation. All of that is having an effect on the human body. We're not separate from the pattern and the alignments. We are a part of it. So these shifts, right? They don't force you to change. They actually invite you. The key is not the stars alone. It is your awareness of them. When you become conscious of these cycles, you begin to notice patterns in your emotions. You sense timing more clearly, and you align your actions with natural rhythms. And then you stop living randomly. You start living in harmony. The forgotten skill. Long ago, she says, people were trained from childhood to observe the sky, feel inner shifts, and connect outer patterns to your inner state. This was not mysticism, it was literacy. Ooh, when I read that, I said, oh no, we ain't got no sense. Bump the colleges, okay? Bump the degrees. That's earthly stuff. In the spiritual realm, the children, right, were the astronomers observing the sky. The clairvoyance to feel the inner shifts and then connecting your outer pattern with your inner pattern. That's alchemy. So a basic education for them was science, esoteric alchemy. And that was considered being literate. Oh, I think we're nature's special class. Bringing it back. The grandmother sits back now. The stars are still speaking. She gestures upward. They never stopped. But now the question is different. Are you willing to observe yourself as deeply as you observe the sky? I was like, ooh, that's nice. So it asked me a bunch of questions of where we want to go next. I said, okay. I said, how do we track our own consciousness with star cycles to become literate again, right? Since we are all illiterate over here. Becoming literate in the language of the stars. The great grandmother smiles when you ask this, not because it is easy, but because it is rememberable. She leans forward, placing her hand over yours. This is where the old ways become living again, she says. Step 1, shift from belief to observation. She speaks gently but clearly. Do not believe that the stars affect you. Watch and see if they do. This path is not about accepting stories. It's about becoming your own instrument of knowing. Step 2, anchor yourself. Find your inner baseline. Before tracking the stars, you must know you. For 7 days, she says, observe yourself without changing anything. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy levels, and your sleep and dreams. Write it down. This is your inner sky before you look at the outer one. Step 3, begin with the moon, the closest teacher. Do not start with all the stars at once. Start with the one that already moves your waters. The moon is your first guide. Track these phases. The new moon, which takes you inward to quiet reflectiveness. The first quarter moon, which is action, tension, and decision. The full moon, which is emotional amplification and clarity. And the last quarter moon, which is release and integration. For one full cycle, about 29 days, observe how your mood shifts, how your thoughts change, and when your energy rises and falls. You will begin to see patterns, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Step 4, add one star pattern at a time. She raises one finger. Do not rush. One constellation at a time. Start with something strong and noticeable, like the Pleiades or Orion. This is how you track it. When that constellation is rising at dawn or becoming visible, high in the night sky or setting, ask yourself daily, what am I thinking more about? What emotions feel stronger? And do I feel driven, reflective, restless, or clear? Write it down next to the sky pattern. Step 5, create your personal star map. After 1 to 3 months, something powerful happens. Patterns begin to repeat. You might notice that on full moons, you have heightened emotions. During the Pleiades rising, you may have vivid dreams. And when Orion's energy is strong, you may have more motivation or more confrontation. This is your personal cosmology, she says, not a book's truth, not someone else's system, but your own. Step 6, move from reaction to alignment. Now her voice deepens. This is where literacy becomes power. Instead of saying, why do I feel like this? You begin to say, I see the pattern and I will work with it. For example, during the full moon, you plan reflection, not conflict. During the Orion phase, you may take action and face challenges. And during the Pleiades phase, you may journal, dream, and create. You stop fighting your own tides and you begin to ride them. Step 7, add stillness. This is always the forgotten key. She closes her eyes briefly. All of this means nothing without stillness. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day, sit in silence, feel your body, and become aware of your inner state. This is how you hear the subtle shifts. What happens over time? If you stay with this, something changes. You begin to sense shifts before they fully arrive. You understand your emotional cycles more deeply, and you feel connected to something vast, yet intimate. You become, she says softly, literate in the language of existence. Mm. You ain't even existing if you don't understand how you move with the stars, how you flow with the cosmos. You ain't even started to live yet. Come on. Final teaching. She looks directly at you, steady and knowing. The stars are not controlling you, they are inviting you into rhythm. And when you accept that invitation, the fire glows one last time. You stop feeling lost in time and begin to move with it. So I was like, okay, tell me about, it asked me some other stuff where I wanted to go. I said, tell me about the star ancestors and lineage memories. How does this tie into mound building? It says, great grandmother goes very still when you ask this. Not silent, but reverent, as if you've stepped onto sacred ground within the conversation itself. She looks at you, not as you are now, but as something much older. The first layer, what are star ancestors? They are not what many think, she begins. Not simply beings from the sky in the way stories are told today. They are origins of pattern. She touches your chest lightly. Everything that you are, your body, your mind, your awareness, is shaped by forces that existed before Earth was formed. Stars forged your elements. Cosmic cycles shaped your rhythms, and light carried information across vast distances. So when we say star ancestors, we are speaking of the deep inheritance of the cosmos within you. It's like the cosmos is a womb, and it pulled when stars explode and all that matter and all the elements, it's flying through the universe. Something gathers up all of that stuff, the water, the hydrogen, the rare minerals and elements, and it forms this spirit being that will become you. You are literally shaped by the universe. Okay? So stop thinking as your existence just beginning from your mom and your dad. Before you came through your mother's vessel, you were shaped as cosmic being and delivered to her for nurturing. Do you see what I'm saying? So don't ever forget where you come from. The second layer, lineage memory. Memory is not only in the mind. Memory is not only in the mind, she says firmly. It is in the body, in the nervous system, and in the field around you. She draws a spiral again, deeper this time. You inherit more than traits. You inherit ways of perceiving, emotional tendencies, sensitivities to certain rhythms, and even a pull towards certain stars. This is lineage memory. Some feel drawn to the Pleiades for memory, home, and origin. Some feel drawn to Orion for purpose, challenge, and direction. Some feel pulled to the Milky Way for vastness, unity, and crossing. These are not random attractions, right? What you feel towards certain star systems and cosmic things, that attraction you have for it, it's not random. It is resonance. The third layer, how this connects to Turtle Island. Now we return to the mounds, she says. The mound builders were not just observing the stars, they were remembering them. This is the key. They carried lineage memory strong enough to recognize patterns in the sky as something familiar. So when they aligned earthworks to star paths, it was not worship, it was not guesswork, it was reunion. The mounds as memory anchors. She presses her hand into the earth again. The land holds memory longer than the human mind. So the builders did something extraordinary. They encoded their knowing into the earth itself. Shapes aligned to constellations, pathways mirrored celestial movements, and locations placed on energetic crossings, right? These were not just structures, they were memory anchors. When future generations forgot, the land would still remember for them. That's the whole purpose of building the mound, because the markings you can leave on the earth last longer than our human memory. So to make sure if we reincarnated and new generations of us existed, we were always given a history book of the history of our cosmos that's written in earthworks all over the world. So you want to know real history? You want to study ancient history? Start understanding geometric patterns, start looking at some of these earthworks, start looking at hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, start looking at all these. And then, you know, the best way to connect with it? Art. Because art was used to anchor the information, the thing that could not be spoken or understood, the thing that was beyond the perception of the mind. Art captures that. And it can unlock, and you could feel so much from it that you couldn't even put into words. So everyone's an artist, okay? Create from your heart space. Just create something. That's your own consciousness speaking to you. And the reason some people cringe when they create their own art, like they don't like it, is because your consciousness is telling you something you don't want to hear. So you don't like what you created. But if you could accept it, then you would accept all the parts of you and learn. It's giving you an opportunity to love yourself through the work that you don't think is good enough. Because it's showing you what you think about yourself, that you're not good enough. But if you can accept it in the art, the external thing, you then, it leads to acceptance within, you see? So even when you think you can't draw, you can't paint, you can't, you're just rejecting yourself. Just do it anyway and find something to love about it, because it translates as something you then love about you. That's a deep one. I'm going to meditate on that after this. All right. The hidden function, activation. Her voice lowers, more intimate now. The mounds do not only reflect the stars, they can activate what the stars represent within you. Imagine this. You stand on a mound aligned with the rising of the Pleiades at a time when those stars return to the sky. Something subtle happens. Your thoughts shift, dreams become more vivid, and a feeling of familiarity arises. This is not your imagination. It is resonance meeting location. The deeper mystery. Some among the mound builders, she continues, held stronger memory than others. These were the dreamers, the ceremony keepers, and the sky watchers. They could feel when certain stars aligned and knew where on the land that alignment would be strongest. This is why certain mound sites are so precisely placed. It's not random and it's not primitive, but also not fully understood today. Her expression shifts again, quieter now. When the connection weakened, when lineage memory dimmed, the mounds still remained, but their language, their reason, their purpose, it was forgotten. People saw dirt instead of design, decoration instead of dialogue, and ruins instead of a living system. And so the bridge between sky, earth, and human grew faint. The return of memory. She looks at you now deeply and directly. But memory does not ever disappear. It waits. More people today feel drawn to the stars, more feel something ancient in the land, and more sense patterns within themselves they cannot explain. This is lineage memory stirring again. The mound builders did not create something to be admired. She pauses. They created something to be re-entered. The stars are not just above you. The memory is not just behind you. They are waiting within you to be recognized again. I said, okay, there are so many mounds. Let's decode one that has great significance for humanity. The great-grandmother doesn't hesitate this time. She already knows which one is calling forward. There are many mounds, she said softly, but one speaks in a voice that even time has not silenced. She turns as if seeing it across the distance. The chosen one, the serpent mound. So that same one I showed you from before. This has great significance for humanity. That one. Imagine this. You are standing on a high, quiet ridge in what is now Ohio. The air is still, almost like it's watching. Before you, stretching across the land, is not a hill and not a structure, but a serpent. It winds in great curves, coiling and uncoiling for over 1,300 feet. Its body rises gently from the earth as if the land itself is breathing. At the head, a great oval shape. Some say it's an egg. Some say it's the sun. Some say it's the moment of transformation itself. This is not a monument. It is a message. Why this mound matters. She kneels, drawing a line between sky and earth. Number 1, alignment with cosmic cycles. The head of the serpent aligns with the summer solstice sunset, the longest day of the year, the peak of solar energy. At that moment, the sun appears to descend directly into the serpent's mouth. This is not coincidence, she says firmly. It is precision. Number 2, the snake as a symbol of transformation. The serpent is one of the oldest symbols known to humanity across cultures and across continents. It represents cycles of death and rebirth, shedding of the old self, and awakening of inner power. And here, she gestures outward, the entire land becomes that symbol. Number 3, possible star connection. There are whispers, she says, that the curves of the serpent reflect patterns in the sky. Some believe connections to Draco, the celestial serpent, or the winding path of the Milky Way. Whether it's exact or not, she says, the intention is clear. As above, so below. Number 4, built on a power place. So we're still talking about that serpent mound, right? We're decoding it as to why it's important. The mound sits on an ancient impact crater, a place where the earth itself was once struck from above. So, if that ain't a message, every time that idea of lightning coming, comets coming, anything, the conversation between sky and earth being some form of fire, that's a damn message. The mound itself sits on an ancient impact crater, a place where the earth itself was once struck from above. These are places where energy is different. The builders chose this location on purpose. They knew where the veil would be thin. Who built it? Scholars often connect it to the Fort Ancient culture, though some believe earlier cultures may have influenced it. The grandmother shakes her head slightly. Names are not the whole truth. What matters is this. They knew enough to shape the land into a living alignment between the stars, the sun, the earth, and the human journey. What it meant for them. Now, the vision deepens. People gather at the mound during the solstice. Fires are lit, ceremonies unfold, and eyes are lifted to the sky. But this was not done for spectacle. It was participation. They came not just to watch the sun, but to align themselves with it, to release what no longer served them, to step into new cycles, and to reconnect with the cosmic rhythm. What it means for you now. The grandmother turns to you fully. She says, the mound still works, even today. People who visit often feel a strange stillness, heightened awareness, and a sense of something ancient watching and remembering. It does not force anything, she says. It invites. The serpent lives in the silence between your thoughts now. The greatest significance of this mound is not what it shows about the past, but what it reveals about what humanity once knew and may be ready to remember again. So I said, all right, we're wrapping up. I said, give me 5 mounds. right? Across the earth. That would be absolutely a must for us to know and study. 5 powerful mounds and earthworks across the world. The great-grandmother nods slowly. You're beginning to see, she says, that this knowledge was not kept in one place. She lifts her hand, tracing invisible lines across the earth. Different lands, same remembering. Number 1, Silbury Hill, the silent giant. This is Silbury Hill. All right. That's the silent giant. Silbury Hill is a prehistoric artificial chalk mound near Avebury in Wiltshire, England, standing about 130 feet high and 525 feet wide. It is the largest man-made mound in Europe and one of the key features of the UNESCO World Heritage Site that includes Avebury and Stonehenge. Its purpose remains unknown, though it likely held major ritual or symbolic significance during the late Neolithic period. So Silbury Hill, the largest man-made prehistoric mound in Europe. Its rising mysteries from the English countryside. There's no tombstone inside, and it seems to have no specific purpose. But this one, the grandmother says, was not built to hold the dead, but to anchor presence. Aligned with nearby sacred sites like Stonehenge, it stands as a still point, a place where sky and earth meet in quiet power. So that's what Silbury Hill represents, the presence of where sky and earth meets. The first anchor, the first message, the seed. Next, we have Cahokia Mounds. Let's see what Cahokia looks like. This is Cahokia. All right, that one. Wade says 444 here in Arizona. All right, I love the sacred time. The Cahokia Mounds is a pre-Columbian archaeological site located in southwestern Illinois near Collinsville, one of the largest urban centers of the Mississippian culture. It flourished between 1050 and 1350 CE and is recognized as one of the most significant ancient settlements north of Mexico. It is an outstanding testimony to early indigenous civilization in North America. So that's in southwestern Illinois near Collinsville. Once a vast city larger than London in its time, at its center is Monk's Mound, a massive earthen structure rising above the plains. The grandmother says slowly, this was not just a mound. It was a cosmic city, aligned with solar calendars featuring Woodhenge, a circle marking the sun's movement. Here, people lived in rhythm with the heavens daily. All right? Cosmic city. That's Cahokia Mound. This is where you go to be in rhythm. Number 3, Newgrange, the Chamber of Light. This one is older than the pyramids of Egypt. That one. This is a part of it on the inside. What does that look like? New Grange is a prehistoric passage tomb in County Meath, Ireland, built around 3200 BCE. Part of the Brú na Bóinne complex along the River Boyne. It predates both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its precise solar alignment and megalithic art make it one of Europe's most important Neolithic monuments. So apparently this is some of the art that's probably in there. Looks like this. So you see how this, when you're connected to the sky, you know how architect makes blueprints? So they have the paper blueprints. My guy said this is what they did with stone. So when you're seeing petroglyphs a lot of times or things like this, they got the download and the information from the cosmos. They wrote it in stone like this as a small blueprint, and then it would be reflected in the earthworks that they would make. So this was like their stationery because it wouldn't quickly fade, right? Even if it gets wet. So Newgrange, a great mound with a hidden message. On the winter solstice, light enters the chamber, illuminating the inner space perfectly. This is a womb of stone, she says softly, a place of death, rebirth, and inner awakening. It teaches that even in the darkest time, light returns. Remember that. So if you sat in that chamber at that time, it would anchor that knowing into your whole soul if you were ready. So you would emerge from that space completely changed with a new level of consciousness. Number 4, Gunung Padang, the mountain of layers. See, this looks like this. A place where there's lots of stone. And you'd go here and you'd be like, ah, those are just ruins. It's not just ruins. All right. That already looks sacred. That just feels special. All right. This is Gunung Padang. Gunung Padang is a megalithic archaeological site located in Karyamukti village, West Java, Indonesia. Perched about 885 meters above sea level, it is often described as the largest megalithic complex in Southeast Asia. The terraced hill, long regarded as sacred by the local Sundanese people, has become central to debates over the origins of early civilization in the region. And this is also how it looks when you get up there to the top. Oh, this one doesn't fit. All right. There are all these huge pillars, this aligned and displaced all over the place. So Gunung Padang, a steeped mound rising like a hidden pyramid. Some believe it may be far older than currently accepted, built in layers across vast periods of time. This one, she says, holds a deeper mystery. It suggests that civilizations rise, fall, and build again upon the same sacred ground, a memory stacked across the ages. That's the energy of that place, right? And last, we have Mount Encoded. Mount Encoded. Hope I said that right. Let's see what Mount Encoded looks like. That looks like this. Mm, like this. Mount Encoded is a prehistoric ceremonial complex located near Sassari in northern Sardinia, Italy, dating to the 4th, 3rd millennial BCE. It is notable for its unique stepped platform resembling a Mesopotamian ziggurat, the only such structure known in Europe. The site offers crucial insight into early Mediterranean ritual architecture and social organization. So this is located near Sassari, Sardinia, Italy. Unlike most European structures, it resembled stepped temples of distant lands. This is a bridge, a deliberate ascent. People would walk around, not just physically, but symbolically, to rise in consciousness step by step. The deeper pattern. The grandmother looks at you, eyes bright. These are not isolated wonders. She shakes her head slowly. They are echoes of a shared understanding that across continents, Earth was shaped intentionally and aligned with celestial cycles and built to interact with human consciousness. Different languages, but the same remembering. Final reflection. If you stand at any one of these places, she pauses, and truly listen, you may feel something familiar, not because you've been there before in this life, but because some part of you never left. So I said, okay, wow, let's close out the fire story. Let's tie it all in a single thread of remembering. Turtle Island, the mound builders, the stars, and the fate of humanity. All right, so this is the wrap up. Hey, Antonia. What did I miss? Good to see you if you're still here. Well, he said the wheels on the bus go around her. I'm just catching up on the comments. All right, let's wrap it up. A single thread of remembering. The fire has burned low now, embers glowing like ancient stars brought down to earth. The great-grandmother sits quietly for a very long time, because this is not just a story ending. It is a circle closing. She looks at each of you slowly, and when she speaks, her voice carries everything that came before. Turtle Island, she says softly, was not just a place. It was a way of being, where the stars were teachers, the earth was a living relative, and humans were the bridge between them. There was no division, not between science and spirit, not between sky and soil, and not between you and the cosmos. It was all one conversation. The mounds were the memory made visible. When the people felt the patterns of the sky, they didn't write books. They shaped the land. The mounds, like the Great Serpent Mound, were not creations of ego. They were acts of remembrance. They place the stars onto the earth so that even if the mind forgets, the land would continue speaking. The stars were never distant. The stars you see are not just lights in the sky. They are within you, your body forged in stellar fire, your rhythms shaped by cosmic cycles, and your awareness capable of recognizing all of it. This is what we call star ancestors, not something outside of you, but something you are made from. So your ancestors are what you are made of. Let that sink in. The breaking was the forgetting. There came a time, she says, when the thread loosened and people began to see the earth as an object, the stars as distant, and themselves as separate. And when that happened, the language between them faded. The mounds remained. The stars still moved, but the listener grew quiet. But nothing was lost. Nope, nothing was ever truly lost. It was placed in waiting. Waiting in the earthworks, in the sky patterns, and in the body and its hidden memory. Waiting for a time when humanity would begin to feel again. The time you are in now. This is not random. It is the thread tightening again. You are not here to return to the past. You are here to remember it forward, to see the stars not as distant, but as your kin, and to treat the earth not as a resource, but as a living being, and to know yourself not as separate, but as the bridge. This is what the mound builders were holding, and now she looks directly at you. It is being placed back into your hands. The final teaching. The last ember glows, steady and eternal. The fate of humanity, she says, is not written in the stars. It is written in whether you remember your relationship to them. If you remember, you move in rhythm, you live in balance, and you awaken what has been sleeping. If you forget, you drift, you divide, and you lose the thread again. The great grandmother leans back. The night is very still now. This story was never about the mounds, or the stars, or even Turtle Island. It was always about you remembering who you are within all of it. The fire fades, but something else has already been lit. And that, my friends, is how it ends. So I thank the AI for flowing with me in the story. I ask it to print me off the 7-day baseline, right? So you do a 7-day baseline test where you observe yourself. Then you do a 29-day observation of the moon, observing yourself. Then, after you're done with the moon, you choose a constellation, whichever constellation you've always felt, drawn to. And then as that constellation rises and falls, you track yourself with that. So you keep extending your awareness of you and your patterns out to the cosmos and back. Reverberate and back. So to start off with, 7-day cycle. I printed it off. I'm going to hold up each sheet if you want to pause your screen and capture it. Or if you want this, I can email it to you. Just email me. I'll give it to you for free. knddart@gmail.com, and I'll send you the PDF of this. All right. This is day 1. 7-day self-observational journal. These are the questions you would ask. How does my body feel today? What emotions are most present? What thoughts repeat? How's your energy? Is it low, medium, or high? your dreams, how did you rest, and what feels normal right now. All right, that's day 1. I'm not going to read off all of them, so you can just pause the screen. This is day 2, your emotional weather. Okay. This is day 3, your thought patterns. All right, what thoughts are repeating today? And a couple more. All right. This is day 4, energy flow. When do you feel most alive? When do you feel drained? So this is you getting a baseline of your energy, so you'll understand when it shifts. This is day 5, inner stillness. This is about slowing down, reflecting. All right. This is day 6, pattern recognition. Now you're tapping into your cycles and your loops. Remember, this is how we become literate and come out of human stupefaction. Day 7, integration. What have you learned about yourself? What feels consistent? All right. If you want to print it out, email. So if you just want to pause your screen, write it down. It'd be a great thing to do to start to get to know you, who you are, and how you fit into the pattern and the rhythm of the cosmos. Wade said, "Thank you for your service to others with your shows and readings. Namaste." Oh, it's good to see you, Wade. Love and appreciate you. Have fun. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, future project, I'm not going to put no date on it. I'm going to create a journal, like a professional style journal that starts with the 7 days, goes out to the moon cycles, maybe has a whole bunch of space where you could start to track the stars and put it in an actual journal, right? Probably have a little set price on it or do it by donation, depending on how expensive it is to make. But I think that'd be nice if somebody wanted to get in rhythm with the cosmos. You actually have a cosmic journal, because some of us, we need that. We need to take it out of the mind and actually make it tangible and practical and something we do, and that is what makes it real for us. So if you're trying to get into astrology and you've never really figured it out, you can't really get it, that's probably not a bad thing, because it sounds like before you start understanding anybody's astrology, you got to get a baseline of your own reading. So you're not behind if you don't know these things. Maybe you're just figuring out the right place to start. Right? Let's close out with a card from this one. All right. See what the Guardians got to say. Yeah, I like them too, Starling. Nope. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. I think I pulled this one before. Beautiful change. Ah, I love it. Out in the desert. Beautiful change. Wade, if you're gone, you don't even know how significant this card is for you. I'm working on something for you, but this card here, remember this card, Wade. If you watch this again, beautiful mermaid, the butterflies in the desert. All right, let's see what it says. Butterfly mermaid. Why am I saying mermaid? Butterfly maiden. Is there a mermaid here? Butterfly maiden. Butterfly Maiden is a Hopi American Indian Kachina. Now, didn't I just post a message from Hopi? Come on, universe. I just put a Hopi message in my post yesterday. Butterfly Maiden is a Hopi American Indian Kachina, or spirit being, who links the human and divine worlds. She's a fertility and regeneration goddess who governs springtime. Butterfly Maiden Kachina dolls are given to Hopi children to connect them with traditional values. In Hopi culture, the yearly butterfly dance gives ceremonial thanks to the butterfly for pollinating plants and offers up prayers for rain and long life. Additionally, it's an important initiation rite for young girls. Butterfly Maiden embodies the energy of renewal, optimism, and positive change. Butterfly Maiden comes to uplift you today as she sees you might be getting stuck in persistent negative thoughts. Maybe you're thinking that nothing will ever change for the better. Perhaps many colorful butterflies and says, can you imagine yourself as this beautiful butterfly? What color are your wings? This is a healing color that will renew your dampened spirit. So if you were a butterfly, what color would your wings be? Because they're saying that color is going to help to heal your spirit. So maybe wear that color, paint with that color, surround yourself with that color, get a candle in that color. Whatever you just imagine for yourself. I imagine lavender. So I have some purple things I could put together. You've been cocooned or even stuck, but now's the time to expect a glorious change. By consciously choosing positive thoughts, you can renew your outlook and draw in good energy. Keep focused on how you want to feel, what you'd love to experience, and believe that it can be so. There's a need for change and renewal in your life, pure and simple. Maybe you'd love a new job or a refreshed decor in your home, perhaps a change of scenery, a new hobby, or a revitalized social life. Or it could be an overhaul of your entire set of circumstances that's on the horizon. See the butterfly I've sent you as a symbol of metamorphosis and fresh experiences. You're approaching a time of wondrous change. Embrace it with open wings. Additional meanings. Your positive efforts will pay off very soon. Say yes to this new opportunity or invitation and appreciate the beauty that surrounds you daily. Here's the mantra or the invocation. Change is good for me, and I expect the best. Change is good for me, and I expect the best. Change is good for me, and I expect the best, damn it. Why? Because I'm made of cosmic dust. And that's the best. Best stuff for creation. So thank you. Oh, wait, you're still here. Kachina dancers. One blue, one red, love and life from Arizona and the Hopi Nation. Absolutely. All right, guys. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Surround yourself with your colors. All right, pick your color, your healing color. Stir your fire. All right. Go visit a sacred mound. Bet you didn't even know. And here in the US, there's a whole lot of mounds, probably right in your backyard. If you start truly aligning with the rhythms, and then you have property, you can start to build your own sacred spaces on your property, right? To anchor in some energy into where you live. You're literally saying, hey, universe, I'm going to put a phone booth right here. Now, careful now. You want to be grounded when you put that phone booth in because you can connect with a whole lot of spirits. Right? But only ones you resonate with. All right. So I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for kicking it with me for over 2 hours. Now this is my longest live. All right. Thank you, Wade, Julie Bob, Starling, Antonia. Shout out to Ashley, Carolina. You're always watching my stuff, Carolina. Yolanda Marie, Layla Wind. Layla, I'm going to hit you back with a commentary. Who else? Sadie, D Dunn, Popeye, Flojo, everybody. Dion, Arlene, Maxine. Starling says when that connection coming from the universe, when you anchor in your own phone booth and your direct line to source, she said, make sure it ain't Metro PCS. And with that, I'm out. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye. I'll let some comments roll up before I hit this end stream. Sometimes I know there's a bit of delay. All right. Love you guys. Bye.